Hello, everyone. I hope you've got your custard for ready um, as Robert Linton and I are here for the Holtecast as always for 7500 Holt. How's it going, Robert?
It's going well. I didn't actually expect you to start with that. Get
No,
your
I
custard
didn't.
ready.
I
Get
didn't
your
expect
fix.
you to start with it either. But you had some interesting stats yesterday, really. And that's kind of what we were talking about just a couple minutes ago.
Get your custard ready. Start writing your fiction, and
And
play an
go vote
instrument.
very conservatively.
Yeah, and apparently you're all a very artistically inclined lot. So if one of you could write some lyrics and the other of you play an instrument and make us a theme song, we'd really appreciate it.
Yeah, that'd be great. I mean, we used to have a little intro back when we just did the only the audio version, but obviously don't have that anymore. I mean, we do have it, we just haven't put it in. But
I was actually just thinking
kind of
about
like
this
Villa. Villa
morning.
haven't been able to put it in a lot this season either. Just five goals so far. That's how many Southampton have conceded. I think we're going to be in for really Villa could be playing an uphill battle Monday.
Yeah, it looks like a match that a loss would it just feels like a loss in advance, but you know that's my insight on the Aston Villa
Yeah.
Southampton match.
I think a lot of teams probably feel that way about Southampton at this point.
Which is kind of incredible if you think about it. They got promoted what, last year, or was it 2 years ago?
Yeah, it must have been 3 years ago.
Yeah, this is their third season up, right?
Yes, but I think just 5 seasons ago they were in.
League One.
Yeah,
Yeah. So, they're now there, and they're legitimately battling for a spot in Europe at this point.
and I think they've legitimately been a team that deserves to be in Europe next season. Maybe they probably won't be in the Champions League because they've been having an amazing run, but I think they're just due to get some unlucky injuries. But then again, maybe you'll see just a bunch more players step up. Like you look at Southampton, they had a fire sale. They were tipped to go down by some. I mean, I thought that a 5-1 was a good price on them, or it was a little more than that. It ended up getting slashed down to 5-1 near the end of the transfer window. But looks like Southampton went out and bought better players, or got better players, or scouted
Yeah.
better players. They lost their manager last year. I think Spurs should have got their scouts instead of their manager in Pochettino.
Yeah, no kidding. I mean, at this point, Southampton have a 4-point hold on second place and a 7-point hold on a Champions League guaranteed spot. Not even Champions League like playoff spot, Champions League group stage spot. They have that
And
by
I
7
think
points.
Chelsea has that top spot kind of on lock.
Yeah, the idea of Chelsea losing this year is unfathomable.
No, and a lot of people say that. Like I was watching, I think it was last week, ESPN FC. They're saying is the title race over and trying to debate is it ridiculous to hand Chelsea the title, but not really because do you see them losing a ton of games or even any games realistically? Like maybe I think Chelsea probably lose 3-4 games in the league this year because it's just destined to happen. They're not gonna be the Invincibles.
Yeah. But if they keep up their current pace, and let's just say they lose their next 2 games in a row, just for the sake of argument, they will have 29 points in 13 matches, and that will put them on pace to. Sorry, I'm doing math as we're doing this.
Will
Time
that be
38.
about
That'll be an 85-point pace. That's league-winning form.
generally? Because
And
there's
do you
not usually when you see the league, if there's going to be maybe three candidates, 85 is going to take it for you. It's like what did they have last year? 86 did it for City.
Yeah, something like
I
that.
think
And do you actually see Chelsea losing 6 matches this season, which is what that would put them on pace for?
no, and I don't even see someone being close to them because it looks like 2 through 7 are really close this year. I think.
Yeah, absolutely. I think
And
Southampton may be a bit of a mirage at this point.
no, but you look. I've put Southampton into the category with like Everton and Spurs because maybe they have the potential to be there. Southampton actually showing their potential. Those other two sides not so far. But I mean, in Southampton that they clearly have some cash sitting around if they want to spend it in January or next summer. I don't think they're going away anytime soon.
Yeah, nor do I. They've set themselves up to be stable. They've set themselves up.
And
I remember a few years ago when they actually did first come up to the league. Aaron wrote an article for our site that was essentially saying Southampton are what Villa should be aiming to be, or maybe that was last year. It was sometime in the past couple of seasons, and
I think it was 2 years ago, probably when they just came up.
And his point was, Southampton are doing everything right. They're a team on the upswing. They're a team that's built on youth. They're a team that can, sustain a few losses in terms of players and get the money back in return for it.
Or even go down a season, and since all their players are, I mean, they're obviously different than Villa, and it couldn't work like that at Villa just because of we saw all the big existing contracts like the Darren Bent, even coming into Lambert, but like what you're saying, I think Southampton, if they would have maybe yo-yoed their first year, go down, they could have came straight back up, and just because of their younger players, it wouldn't have hurt them entirely as much. If Villa go down, it's over.
Yeah, absolutely. If Villa do end up getting new owners, I sort of hope they look towards Southampton as a model of sustainability. Get rid of some of these big contracts.
Yeah, definitely from that business management standpoint. I was talking about kind of scouting, and I think
No, you're right.
Randy Lerner has actually invested into scouting a bit. But we always saw Southampton, even 5 years ago, you see their products. I mean, they've had Theo Walcott, Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain, Gareth Bale. I mean, they're still a selling club, and you can't deny that they're a selling club. But is any club really unhappy to raise a youth player and sell him for $35 million?
God, no. I mean, second to perhaps Chelsea.
And replace him with Ryan Bertrand and profit $30 million. Just put it to the side.
Yeah,
Ryan Bertrand's a fine left back.
Yeah, he is. He's I think he's the equivalent to Ali Sissoko. I was happy when we got Sissoko instead of Bertrand, but I don't think you could have told much difference in that spot. But I think second to Chelsea, Southampton probably have the best academy in England.
Oh, I think so. I think maybe from a pure in-house youth development, Southampton's maybe better, but Chelsea just with the pound for pound that they spend, I think Southampton's is better, obviously. But just look at Chelsea's extensive network of loans.
Yeah, exactly. I was just thinking
you're not able to compete.
I think Chelsea could field almost 2 full squads with their loanees.
Well, one is Vitesse.
Yeah.
In the Eredivisie.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. I think they could field 2 full squads, and I think Chelsea's loanees could put a fight if you could take the best of
Chelsea loanees would not get relegated.
I don't think they would. No.
They would probably finish top 10 because Torgan Hazard may end up being as good as his brother. You see the free kick he had for Gladbach?
Say that again?
The free kick he had for Mönchengladbach.
I did see that. It was insane. It's And how can a team like an Aston Villa expect to compete against the sort of depth that a Chelsea can bring to the table? And I think the answer lies in modeling yourself after a Southampton.
It's really the only chance, and the Premier League, the market's expanding globally really exponentially, and you look at all the TV money that's coming in, and Southampton, they know that right now if they can get to the Champions League, if they're one of those teams, I think we had talked about it a little while ago. There's going to be one team who's going to be able to break the consistency model that's just seen kind of the top 6 really hanging around there. There's going to be somebody who cracks it, and inevitably somebody's going to get left out. But look, Man United missed the Champions League. They lost a ton of revenue this year, even though they claim that it's going to be better. And they got $1 billion from a kit sponsorship deal.
Yeah, they're not hurting at all. But you're right. It's lost revenue that they should have. It's lost global exposure that they should have.
But yeah, finishing mid-table in the Premier League going to get you about £75 million. But if you're in the Champions League, you're probably going to get 85 from the league, and then that's 16 million, I think, just for getting in the group stage. So, like you're saying, if Southampton got that 3rd spot, even compared to the 4th, even if you crash out of the Champions League, if you don't feel the squad at all, you'd focus on the league. You can just pocket their money.
Yeah, and then, even if you crash out of the Champions League, you continue to collect a paycheck from the Europa League, which isn't a great paycheck.
If you get 3rd.
Is it just 3rd that does that?
Yeah, third goes to the round of 32.
Okay, for some reason I was thinking it was both. Sorry.
They redo the round of 64 when you played the round of 32. The Europa League's just massive. I wish Villa would actually care about the Europa League because, like, I don't know, why wouldn't you want to have another match on Thursdays?
Yeah, it would be kind of nice. Although,
Like, if you have the squad for it, like, say you're Spurs, I mean, you might as well. Everyone else in Europe cares about it except the English teams.
yeah, that's a good point. I mean, it's a big cup. It's an
And you know,
important
now
cup.
the Europa League winner goes to the Champions League. We saw it a couple years ago where Atletico won the Champions League, and then they played Chelsea in the Super Cup after Chelsea had beaten Bayern. They beat Bayern. I mean, we knew Chelsea wasn't the best team in Europe that year, anyways. But this
Yeah,
year they have a chance, and especially you see Lahm got injured for Bayern. Bayern,
I did, and
they're all made of glass, I think. Or I mean, they've played a billion matches the past couple years, been in every competition.
yeah. And
That's really the
you know,
only worry, I think, if you're involved, like if Villa were involved in Euro and you don't have the biggest squad. Is it worth it? You see
is it worth it to sacrifice your players?
Yeah, essentially.
No, that's and you know, you really do risk player injury. You risk it, you know, on those Europa League dates. You risk it on things like this international break, right? Where you're going to see a lot of players get injured.
Yeah, fitness levels getting stretched, whatever.
Is it better to see a player get injured while playing for the club? At least at that point, he sacrificed himself for something you give a damn about.
I think so, because usually you're not always caring about that specific nation that they're playing for.
For instance, do you care about the Netherlands against Mexico?
I don't even know about the U.S. at this point. Of Brad Guzan, please don't get injured.
Yeah, pretty much. I
care about Benteke playing for Belgium because he can't play for Villa at this point. I don't think another injury is going to happen. If it does, it's just a freak injury that happened. But I'd like to see him try to get into some goal-scoring form.
I had a headline prepared. If Benteke got injured while playing for Belgium, it was just going to be ha 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 for all of the characters that we can use to get onto news now.
I didn't know if you had just pre-written the whole article. It's just the headline.
Yeah, just that line.
Not expecting the doomsday scenario, really. I mean, with Benteke out, how do Villa score goals? They've scored 5 this season. That's how many Southampton have conceded.
Well, that's how we score goals. We just score 5 of them, and that's all we're going to get.
And none past the 60th minute. And Villa haven't even recovered a point when going behind. And I know we're always feeling like it's just a death sentence when Villa go behind, but it really has been. We knew. I mean, particularly against Spurs, when they leveled it, we knew it was over. We knew Villa were going on to lose. But
yeah, if Villa keep up at their pace right now, they will have 17.27 goals at the end of the year. 17.27.
That should be enough to win nothing.
A match. If you can put all 17.27 into one match.
Maybe you'll beat Southampton.
Yeah, exactly. So really quickly, we're heading into this Southampton match, and we've got injuries galore. Philippe Senderos, we talked about last week, injured himself in the Swiss camp. Nathan Baker injured himself 2 weekends ago in the West Ham match. And then Ron Vlaar, in a totally meaningless friendly, injures his calf playing against Mexico.
Yeah, right after, actually, on last week's pod, said that Vlaar isn't world-class because he gets injured too often, but so sorry if that did it. But, yeah, I mean, you saw Kieran Clark get some action for Ireland yesterday. They beat the U.S. 4-1.
Yeah, and they looked really good. And Kieran Clark and Shea Given
looked really bad. But, yeah, Shea Given was in goal.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's always good that if your backup goalie can actually play.
Yeah, because he sure as hell isn't getting cup matches.
No. or Europa League matches, but
or anything.
So we came into the season, we thought a 3 at the back maybe was going to be a possibility because look at all these center backs that we had, and where are they?
Yeah, and
they're all on the trading table.
And now we actually. The Vlaar's injury apparently is not the same thing that's been affecting him over the past season and a half or so, which is good, but it's also apparently fairly severe. It's going to keep him out a match or two from what I've heard. Vlaar out, Baker out, Senderos out. We literally could not play a back 3 right now.
No, no. I mean, Chris Hurd still listed as a center back for some reason.
So we'd have to
Yeah.
recall him.
Oh, I thought he had came back.
I thought it would. Well, I have no idea
I thought
now.
he just had a short loan. But anyways, okay.
Yeah.
So
Anyways, we're not going to be seeing him play center back.
no, but this week though, Yoris Sikora saying he could leave the club in January after not getting a chance to play for no reason, really.
The stupidest thing you've heard in ages?
The most Villa thing you've heard?
The most Villa thing you've heard. Yeah, it's I guess the question is, does it make any sense to piss off Yoris Sakura at this point?
What, and keep benching him?
Yeah.
No, it does. It never did. If it made sense if he was not match fit and you thought he was going to get injured.
Yeah, I guess the question that I'm trying to ask here is, because it doesn't make sense, obviously. That was a poorly worded question.
Yeah, no, it was.
Is there any excuse for the fact that we've pissed off Yoris Sakura by not playing?
Oh, exactly. Yeah, I agree. There's been no reason. I don't understand. I mean, I would have started him over Senderos from day one just because I think he has potential and Senderos doesn't.
But then again, from day one, Senderos played really well for Villa.
Oh, I'm not saying.
I was okay
I'm not
with
saying he didn't. Yeah, I mean, it ended up working, but I would have thought coming into the season we were going to see Okora and Vlaar. I thought that was going to be the partnership.
Yeah, I would have put almost any amount of money on that. That
that would have been what we would have wanted had Okora been healthy coming in the season, and we've seen him get some U21 matches with Denmark and also with Villa. He's undefeated now as Denmark's U21 skipper still.
Yeah, exactly.
The other day.
And it looks like he should be playing on Monday. Just simple numbers dictate the fact that he and Kieran Clark are probably going to be getting the start.
And honestly, I'd be okay with that because as long as Okora starts, then I mean, I don't know. Clark's got to have some confidence after a 4-1 win.
You would think he would have some.
Probably too much confidence. He'll probably think he's actually a good defender.
I'm not okay with the thought of Clark and Okora because Okora is going to be coming in and it will be his first Premier League match in well over a year. I think he's going to look a lot like Sanchez did in his first couple of matches. He's going to look out of his depth and he's not going to look great. And I wish he had a competent veteran pairing next to him, either Senderos.
Yeah, we would hope Vlaar. Yeah, exactly. I think it'd be good. I think it'd be fine to just throw him in if he's with Vlaar.
Yeah, I think the pairing of Okora and Clark has the potential to be the biggest shit show we've seen in ages.
It could well be.
And the real downside here, I think, is the fact that Okora, there's a really good chance he looks bad in his first few matches because he hasn't played in ages. Because
it's his first few matches.
Yeah, exactly. And so people are going to get on him. He's going to get on himself. He's going to look like crap. And the problem is going to be if you throw him in next to Vlaar, there's at least some support there, and there's he's not going to look quite as bad. When you throw him next to Clark, who is, to my mind at least, unquestionably our worst defender. When you throw him next to Clark, it's going to be terrible, and it's going to blow their confidence, and this is going to be even worse than if he has a bad game against Arsenal or something like that.
Yeah, that's usually the argument against playing youth in general, is that it's going to destroy their confidence.
Yeah, and the problem is, if you have him there next to someone good, if you have him there against a really great team, you can sort of buffer that confidence hit. You can say, hey, look, it was your first match out. It wasn't quite so bad. Vlaar was there helping you. It has potential to just blow up in our faces.
Oh, it does, but by the same token, I guess if you're kind of expecting that to happen, and then you say he comes out and just has a great match, then
yeah, absolutely, there is the potential there.
It's just that much of a confidence builder. I think he's got more to gain than to lose here, because if he plays really well, I think that's a massive confidence boost. If he does poorly, that's your first match, really.
Yeah, no,
the way I see it, I mean, I don't think Villa have anything to lose.
My worry is the fan reaction to him, because I really don't think
that's fair.
Most Villa fans will be taking into account the fact that he hasn't played a match in a year and a half. He's playing with Kieran Clark probably. I don't think fans are going to take that into account, and if he has a bad day, I think they'll go to town on him.
then that's entirely possible. But
And that's my worry, really. I think if we're the rational people are going to be like, yeah, if he has a bad day, he has a bad day, and if he has a great day, awesome. I'm worried about the more irrational, vocal majority.
I think Villa's attack needs to score some goals, and the defenders can, unless they, I don't know, maybe ship 3 or 4, should not be really having to worry too much. How much can you do as a defender when your attack has scored 5 goals the
Yeah,
whole season?
absolutely. I mean, if you give up anything, it feels like doom, like you were saying a little bit earlier. The thing that I am excited about is I really do think, even if he has a bad game, I'm really excited to see Okora getting a chance. I mean, remember, he was thinking
Oh,
of
no doubt, yeah.
Chelsea were chasing him, and he said, nah,
And
screw it.
Dortmund, no, yeah, he's like, I'm going to Villa so I can play.
And
Well,
Graham Mackery, the editor over at We Ain't Got No History, it's been a while since we did this, but Chelsea, the year before Okora came over, played
for Nordsjælland against Chelsea in the Champions League.
Yeah, exactly. And Graham described him as a defensive Christian Benteke. And if that doesn't mean as much now because Benteke has been injured and we haven't seen him do anything miraculous, think back to the fact that that was being said 2 summers ago when Tottenham were chasing Benteke and Benteke was the hottest commodity in football.
Yeah, when Benteke was going to leave Villa.
Yeah, and he was described by, Graham, who I consider to be one of the smartest football minds out there, described him as a defensive Christian Benteke. That should make you excited.
Graham's probably just one of the smartest minds out there, but
Yeah, that's true.
yeah.
That should make us excited. And if he has a rough match, don't go down on him.
Let him have another match. We know Okora's going to be good.
And we're already seeing Sanchez improve. I still don't trust Sanchez all that much, but we're seeing improvement.
I think if Delph was back in there, I'd feel a lot more comfortable with Sanchez being on the pitch, but
yeah, I suppose that's the other worry.
Okora is really fast.
The door opener to Kieran Clark and Yoris Okora is going to be Sanchez. So, God, it could be bad.
What about Matt Lowton at center back?
I wouldn't mind seeing that. I think he could fill in, especially if you didn't put him at center back. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I think Matt Lowton's really good at the right center back in a back 3. Because when he's got to do a little bit of running out there, and then you can have Vlaar in the middle, and then, I don't know, Baker on the left of that. We've seen that being as functional somewhat.
It's one match where if we do have to do the Clark and Okora thing, it's one match where I wouldn't mind seeing Villa play 5 at the back. Because that's
Are we gonna have Hutton back?
I don't know. I haven't seen anything yet. But it's a defense that is not solid. It's a defense that has no match experience lately. So I wouldn't mind seeing them bolstered by having, say, either Hutton and Bakuna and Sissoko, and then, like you said, maybe Lowton, Clark, and Okora in the center.
Yeah, I think I would like to see Bakuna.
I would love to see him again, too. I've forgotten what the guy looks like.
Yeah, and I'd like to see him, maybe that right wing back, right mid, or maybe even in the midfield. I don't know. I hope we get I think we'll see Nzogbia again and
Cleverly. Westwood are gonna make it.
Yeah, I think I'll have a tactics post for. I guess it'll be for tomorrow when you're seeing this for Friday because the match isn't until Monday. But
yeah,
I don't know. I think Lambert's got some options, and I think Okora and Grealish should at least be on the bench.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think there's no way that they're not, and
unless the injury situation changes, I can't envision a way in which Okora doesn't start.
Yeah.
With Senderos, Baker, Vlaar out, I really can't wrap my mind around who else would be a center back.
No, yeah, it just looks like Villa doesn't have anyone available really.
And if those 3 people are injured and Okora doesn't start, I'm perfectly fine if Okora flips off Paul Lambert and walks off.
Yeah, I think maybe we'll get a repeat of a tweet we've seen from him before in the past.
Which was fuck bring polite.
Yep.
Took me a second. I'm trying to get on that one. So we've got that. Aston Villa are going for their first win since September 13th. So currently, as of Monday, I need to take. What the heck day is Monday? It's like the 24th. Yeah, the 24th.
Yeah.
That will be 2 months and 11 days. All right. So 2 months and 11 days without a win. When do they get their next win?
You know, the fixture list coming up is really a lot less scary than it has been, obviously, with that stretch. But you don't really see a let-off game just because it's Villa at this point.
Exactly. That's the problem. I mean, we were, if you remember, right after that Liverpool win, we were looking at this part of the fixture list and just salivating.
Yeah, but then you realize that West Ham actually, I don't know, picked up some points this year. You can't say they played that good of football against Villa because they didn't, but it wouldn't have surprised me if Villa would have lost then to West Ham. But yeah, then Southampton next, and after that it's Burnley, Crystal Palace, Leicester City, West Brom, and then after that you can get Man United.
I can legitimately see a win coming at Burnley because Burnley, as bad as Villa are, Burnley are worse. So I could see if they can't get a win at Burnley, there's a legitimate shot that they don't get a win until at least Boxing Day. At Swansea.
You think they beat Swansea?
Well, I'm saying, until at least then. I'm not sure if they go into Swansea and win. So if they can't beat Burnley, they may not get a win until the new year.
So we have Boxing Day Swansea, then it's a 2-day turnaround for Sunderland, and then 4 days later they have Palace on New Year's Day.
Yeah, it's a pretty hellish.
Swansea, Sunderland, Palace. You could get 9 though. What if Villa randomly start playing football and get 9?
Exactly. Yeah, they could. And so that's the interesting thing. There's a fixture area where, and this entire bit coming up, Southampton, Burnley, Palace, Leicester, West Brom, even Man United, because they haven't looked invincible this year. This entire part of the list is a point where if Villa remember how to play, they could suddenly wipe out all of our fear.
Yeah, they suddenly, after January 10th, when they complete playing Leicester and Palace twice within a 40-day span, they're going to have the Liverpool, Arsenal, Chelsea again. But really before that, if they are able to kind of turn it around, I think Delft's going to be kind of getting back around Christmas.
Yeah. And so, they've got a shot here.
And Benteke will be back, obviously, for those.
Yeah, he will be back for the Crystal Palace match.
I think Vyman again essentially needs to just be given a chance and hopefully provided with the ball.
Yeah, exactly.
Because he's not going to set up his own. He's not going to do too much to set up his own shot always. But if he's just there, able to get a strike, like his goal against Stoke,
and
against Hull, he's an instinctive finisher.
Yeah, he is, and if they can get him the ball, I think he could do something interesting with it. Maybe score a goal. I guess my problem is, and we were talking about this before the show, if Villa can't get a win by Boxing Day, they will have gone 3 months and 13 days without a win, right? Which is exactly as long as they went without a win from their last win of last season to the first win of this season, and that includes a summer break in which they didn't play, right? And you and I were talking.
Well, we're not counting the friendlies, of course, and so that's.
No. But you and I were talking, and you said, yeah, I think they'll get a win, and I think you're right. I think they can get a win at Burnley. But given how bad this Villa squad have played and how little they've scored, it's possible.
They haven't shown anything. They haven't shown any reason why they should win. No.
Yeah, exactly. It's possible to envision them getting to Boxing Day without a win, right?
Oh, it's entirely possible, just because they've shown such stretches of futility where they just haven't looked like they know how to. I mean, QPR 7 out of 30 crossing.
Yeah, and
stop doing that. It doesn't work.
Yeah. Could that just be the title of our podcast from now on? Aston Villa, stop doing that. It doesn't work.
I mean, I guess you just have to try to do something else.
So, if you could think of one way that Aston Villa can unlock this Southampton defense, this atrocious Aston Villa offense, how can they unlock the Southampton defense? What's the key?
I don't know. Last year we saw Villa win at St. Mary's 3-2. Delph stunning goal. Kozak must have bulldozed one in.
Yeah, I think that was it.
from very close range. I
Hmm.
don't know, just be Heskey, I guess. That's like it was like if Heskey actually scored, that's probably what that goal would have been. Kinda just bundle everyone and battering ram it in. I don't know, but like you don't really always have to do something fancy, I guess. But without the big strikers, Villa obviously not going to be able to play long ball. Delph, I just remember Delph's long runs,
Hmm.
and
So
it sucks not having him because he literally sprints all over the pitch for 90 minutes.
yeah, and it's not going to be there. Ashley Westwood could maybe fulfill that role. I could see if anyone could take that role in the Southampton match. I could see it being Cleverly.
I just don't think you're going to get the driving runs where Cleverly's not going to dribble around anyone.
That's a fair point.
He's going to run up the pitch and then someone's going to make a tackle and then like half the team's going to be really out of position and then they're just going to pass it forward and score. I don't know.
Yeah,
Like
so is this a thing where, and I don't even care
I
who
think
the
they've just got to. I think they've just got to go out there and try to play. You know, Southampton are going to get some chances. You got to hope Guzan has a good game, but you've got to attack. You can't sit back.
So
You can't try to bunker for 90 minutes.
I don't even care who the defense is. If you put out dummies out there, at this point, to get Aston Villa a goal, do you go up the wings? Do you go up the center? Do you play long ball? Do you try to pass it into the box? What do you do?
I think you've got to try to play 4-4-2 because we just haven't seen it.
Yeah, all right.
And
I would buy that.
Or some kind of maybe a 4-4-1-1 something. I don't know.
Get something to get Vyman in the center.
Yeah, get Inzaghi on the right. Get maybe Andy or Gabby. I don't know. Darren Bent, is that the answer? We don't. I guess you really don't want to know what the question is if Darren Bent's the answer, but I don't know.
If Darren Bent is the answer, I give up on this season and let's just get relegated already.
He's coming off the books at the end of the year. You don't have to. That's kind of extreme.
Oh God! If Darren Bent is the answer, we're screwed.
Maybe unless he actually is the answer.
The world in which I want to live.
Yeah. I think it's tough to be Lambert right now because what do you do with Vlaar, Delph, and Benteke out?
Yeah, and that's part of the thing. Villa are playing like crap, but they're also having an incredible run of unfortunate luck with injuries. A run that has gone back to when Martin O'Neill left Villa. And
maybe that's just because they don't have enough quality.
I guess there's at some point you have to start asking questions. Is it something at the club that is making all of these injuries happen? Is the training staff not as good as they should be? Because to have this many key injuries year in, year out makes you wonder, because luck is not a real thing. There's something happening there.
No, I agree, and I think that just not having people who are able to step up in the absence, like it's just obviously without Benteke, your whole scheme's busted.
Yeah, and the problem is by the time he gets back, Villa.
I guess something I wanted to mention was that I think Southampton are a pretty good team, and I think because their talent level is all pretty similar, all the players are at a pretty similar level. At Villa, it's not like that.
That's true. It is really uneven across the pitch.
Which, at Sweden, it's awkward because they're always just trying to give the ball to Zlatan the whole time, and I don't know, maybe really more like 4 years ago, it just wasn't working for them because they just tried to play too exclusively through the one player.
Yeah, and that may be Villa's problem. They've built everything around Benteke.
Or not trusting your own ability so much because I don't know, there are some players at Villa who are decent players and some players who could be match winners, but some players who are, okay, we meant to mention it about what if Vlaar leaves? Who's gonna come in January?
Yeah, we heard rumors that it was Jonas Olsen, which a guy who can't even make the starting 11 at West Brom, and we're gonna bring him in to replace our best defender. Um, Gross. I don't know. Who does replace Vlaar? Akora?
I think ideally you would have Okoro replacing Vlaar maybe after next season, or I don't know,
I just I
or
can't
if he
even get
gets sold to
excited.
Man United.
I can't even fake myself getting excited about Jonas Olsen.
If no, yeah, Jonas Olsen is a very player, like you're saying. But if Vlaar does go to United, what if Okora can play, and then you're able to spend the 12 million that Vlaar gets you,
Yeah, but you have to spend it on a defender.
or 3?
Yeah, because that's the problem. I mean, there's then temptation. Oh well, we can get a new attacking option of some sort, maybe a midfielder or a striker. But we've demonstrated right now that we literally cannot possibly have too much depth at defense at this point. And so whatever you get from Vlaar, you've got to get at least a defender or two.
Yeah. Okay. I think that really makes a lot of sense. Obviously, still kind of getting into the end of November, looking forward to the January window, I think, and kind of speculation that comes with that. Maybe Villa will get some players,
It would be nice to see him bring in someone useful.
or even cleverly permanently. I think
Yeah,
if Laura went to Man United, I think that'd be a really obvious thing for both clubs would want to do. It's always easier when Cleverly's already at Villa,
yeah,
and
it's
it's just permanent. Make that deal permanent.
yeah, and that would be useful. I think it would be a smart move in January. I don't know. It suddenly hit me. It's just like, God, everything about this sucks. There's so little upside right now. Although then again, I suppose you could make the argument that it is literally all upside because it can't be much more down.
Yeah, I guess that'd be the other way to look at it.
Like,
If you're
like at
not
the end of the
if you're not
season,
gonna
we'll
get
just
that
be
route.
playing Drake nonstop. Started at the bottom, now we're here, and here is 16th.
Oh yeah, we haven't got to the bottom yet. I guess maybe after QPR have gotten more than a third of their points just from the result against Villa.
Yeah,
They have 8 points. QPR is not a good team, but
but Villa made him
We'll
look
have a
like
good
one.
team. Southampton this Monday. I guess it's prediction time. What are you doing?
Southampton 2, Villa 0.
Yeah, it's hard to see Villa scoring, but maybe they'll get one, and it'll probably end. I think it probably ends like 4-1.
4-1. Yeah, I maybe should go higher on the Southampton score there.
Southampton have been they demolished Sunderland.
Yeah, there's a chance this could be one of those just massacres. There's no way
It
I
could
see
be
Villa getting a win here.
No, of course we didn't see that, but yeah, maybe Southampton have an off day and only put 2 in.
Yeah, God. Oof. Look, that's what we're down to. We're hoping that Southampton have a shit day and only beat us by 2. God.
Yeah, I'm past being concerned about the goal difference, so
Oh yeah, no, that is a thing of
just
the past.
something that could happen. But anyways, yeah, that match is going to be Monday Night Football, of course. So yeah, if you're still doing the Villa thing, we'll have some coverage for you. 7,500 as always, but if not, I mean, I guess that's your choice too. So
We won't blame you. Come around to the
yeah,
podcast though.
yeah. We'll hope to stay and come maybe get your Villa news once a week. Hopefully with us, we're still on Blog Talk Radio, iTunes, Stitcher, of course. So for Robert Lintott, I've been Jack Grimsey. Thanks for joining us for the Holtecast.